Welcome to the Fiscal Year 2020 Grant Application webinar provided to you by the Community Corrections Division of the Indiana Department of Correction. On behalf of our division, we want to thank you for taking the time to go through this webinar and complete the grant application. Our hope is that this webinar will enable you to go through the grant application with ease. As always, please feel free to reach out to your assigned program director with any questions you have regarding the grant application process. This slide gives you the necessary information to get to the IntelliGrants website. As you move through this grant application, please remember to save your application frequently to avoid losing portions of your document. If you click the Next button without saving, you will receive an error message. We recommend to always click the Save Next button instead. Once you click the Save button at the top of the page, your form will be checked for errors. If errors are found, a message like this will appear and list the items that need to be fixed before submitting your application. You may proceed to the next form without addressing the errors if you wish to return to it at a later time. Begin on the My Home tab of IntelliGrants. Under View Available Proposals, click the View Opportunities button. Under My Opportunities, click the drop-down button and select Indiana Department of Correction. Once this has been selected, click the Filter button. Confirm that Fiscal Year 2020 IDOC Community Corrections Grant Application appears on the screen. Select Apply Now. The document snapshot will appear. Please note this section will be blank until you complete the application initiation form. At the top of the screen, click on Forms menu, then click Application Initiation on the resulting page. Select the entity type for which you are applying. Each entity requesting money will need its own application document. Please note all fields with an asterisk must be completed to avoid receiving an error message. County Auditor contact information will be requested. You will also fill out the Signatory Authority and Advisory Board President portions on this page. Your county should have a designated signatory authority. This is typically the county's elected auditor. However, in some counties, this may be the city controller or another local government official. At the bottom of the application initiation page, you will upload the required documents. Word documents or PDFs are acceptable formats for uploading. After clicking Save at the top of the page, additional documentation can be uploaded. While any entity may submit an advisory board members list, only community corrections entities are required to submit this document. Also, it is acceptable to have only one approval and prioritization letter if all grant requesting entities are included from your county. The next form is Entity Contacts. Select your entity type and county name. Then select your county again, or, if applicable, select your regional name. Complete all fields on the Entity Contacts form. Please note, all fields with an asterisk must be completed to avoid receiving an error message. The Current Personnel form is next. Complete all applicable fields. This should only include personnel information for fiscal year 2019. Please note, fringe information is to be reported at the bottom of the form for all staff combined rather than individually. Next is the New Position Request form. Complete all applicable fields, including uploading a job description. If you are not applying for new positions, please check the box, "This form is not applicable." Click the Save button at the top of the page. If you are applying for more than one position, after saving the page, click the Add button at the top of the page for an additional New Position Request form. All new positions require their own New Position Request form, even if they have the same job description and salary fringe information. If a position is shared by multiple entities, it is best to request this position under only one entity and outline the sharing plan in the justification section. The personnel summary shows all of the information you have entered in the current personnel and new position request forms. Please review this page for accuracy and save. For fiscal year 2020, the budget is split into two parts: general operating expenses and administrative supervision expenses. The next form is general operating expenses. This includes budget items related to overhead expenses and fixed expenditures. Administrative supervision expenses will include items directly related to programming and participant services. This will be explained on a later slide. The following are examples from each of the series. Series 200 for general operating expenses includes supply items such as office supplies. This is a continuation of Series 200 budget items such as cleaning supplies and vehicle maintenance supplies. Series 300 general operating expenses includes items such as contractual pest control services and waste management. This is a continuation of Series 300 budget items such as internet services and printing costs. This is a continuation of Series 300 budget items such as non-personnel insurance and utilities. This is a continuation of Series 300 budget items such as maintenance contracts and rental agreements. Series 400 general operating expenses include items such as office furniture and computers. This is a continuation of Series 400 budget items such as vehicles and miscellaneous equipment. If you are requesting items not specifically listed on the application, please add them in the Other box at the bottom of the corresponding section or in the Miscellaneous section if it is available. Please provide specific justification for all items requested. The Administrative Supervision Expenses form is also split into the same series categories. These budget items will relate directly to providing services to participants. The following are examples from each of the series. Series 200 items for administrative supervision expenses include bus passes and participant incentives. This is a continuation of Series 200 budget items such as drug and alcohol testing supplies and program manuals. Series 300 items for administrative supervision expenses include staff training and development expenses and electronic monitoring contracts. This is a continuation of Series 300 budget items such as professional services and consulting contracts. Series 400 items for administrative supervision expenses include non-contractual service equipment such as residential beds and electronic monitoring equipment. If you are requesting items not specifically listed on the application, please add them in the Other box at the bottom of the corresponding section. Please provide specific justification for all items requested. The Entity Budget Summary outlines all information entered into the General Operating Expenses and Administrative Supervision Expenses forms. The two columns labeled Recommended Grant Funding and Notes are for IDOC use. Please review this page for accuracy and save. Next is the Entity Proposal form. Please read the instructions in the green box. The problem statement should include relevant statistics to support the request's reasoning and the makeup of the target population. Please note, text is limited in the answer boxes. Please read the instructions in the green box. The overview description of your proposal should include both previously funded programming and proposed programming for the entire agency. It is helpful to include the use of evidence-based practices and policies. Next is the Entity Overview form, which includes the agency's mission and vision statements and information regarding current policies. On question 3, check all boxes next to the assessments that are currently being used in-house by your agency. If assessments used by your agency are not listed, check the Other box and type in the names of the validated assessments currently used by your agency. If your agency has a policy relating to the use of assessments apart from the IRAS, it should be uploaded here. Next, you will describe the grant-funded programs currently provided to participants which address each of the specific criminogenic needs and responsivity factors. You will describe all grant-funded programs available to participants, including those provided by outside treatment agencies. Program evaluation could include observations for program fidelity, tracking participant completion data, or tracking participant pre- and post-test scores. Target population descriptions should include responsivity factors in addition to demographic information. Select the interventions and techniques currently in use by agency staff. If interventions or techniques are not listed, please check the Other box and briefly describe the intervention or technique. You will select interventions and techniques utilized for regular participant contact, to address positive reinforcement, and to address violation behaviors. You are asked to upload your agency's policies regarding participant incentives and sanctions. In the next questions, you will describe programs provided that are funded by sources other than the IDOC Community Corrections Grant. All fields should be completed as it relates to the agency as a whole. This includes programs provided by both in-house and outside treatment agencies that are funded by sources such as other grants or the County General Fund. The next few questions ask about how the agency collaborates with stakeholders in the community. Next, you will select which, if any, of the listed levels of supervision are used by your agency. All court recidivism reduction programs should have their own application document submitted separately. This is true even if the program has been previously funded under probation or community corrections. Depending on the levels of supervision selected, you will be prompted to fill out corresponding forms related to the specific level of supervision. After clicking the Save Next button at the end of the last form of the application, you will be taken back to the document snapshot page. At this point, we recommend that you review your forms and possibly ask other staff members to review them also. An alternative to clicking on the links across the top of the page, such as Forms menu, is to hover over the link to see the options available on that page. On the Forms menu, you will see an icon like this next to any form that has errors. These need to be addressed prior to the submission of the application. After reviewing your application, you will go to the Status Changes page. This is where you will be able to officially submit your application. Please do not click the Cancel Application button unless you wish to completely restart the entire application document. This action deletes all information you have entered and uploaded. If you are ready and all errors have been addressed, you may now click the Submit Application button. Once you have successfully submitted your application, you will receive this confirmation message. Congratulations, you have completed the fiscal year 2020 IDOC Community Corrections Grant application process. Thank you for watching this webinar.